interview with Radar, you speak a lot about streetwear and how important women in streetwear are. And when you said that, it really got me thinking, because obviously, Where's My TV, we do what we do. Like, I look at so many brands, but I didn't realize that there's not, or I haven't seen a lot of female streetwear brands. So why did you kind of decide to do streetwear? What does streetwear represent to you? Like, why is it so important for women to like cultivate a streetwear space?
Yeah, so that's what, again, this is where, like, when I go back to thinking about Ffith and what I wanted it to be, like, my personal fashion taste is like, I love streetwear mainly because I just like how it's comfy, like it's functional. Like this is just kind of like my taste and what I like. So being someone who buys streetwear, it's so hard as a woman to find like trousers that fit properly, or like tees that fit properly, or, you know, like I would wear a lot of brands that's like, it's menswear brands, and okay, they may have done a female line, or you're wearing menswear brands and you're wearing the menswear pieces, and it just fits obviously your body differently as a woman. So that was kind of an area that I saw that I was like, no, I want it to be like streetwear, but that is made to fit women and like is for women. Like, it's not a unisex streetwear brand, or it's not a men's streetwear brand that I'm then making a women's wear line. Like, I want it to just be solely focused on women, like for women's bodies. And yeah, like I was saying, like to take up market space in this area, because I feel like it is such like a male dominated, but there's like so many women who love streetwear, do you know what I mean, and love like this kind of aesthetic. So
why do you think it is so male dominated then?
I think just in history, like when you look at like streetwear culture, where it comes from, like sports, you know what I mean, like skateboarding or like this kind of stuff, is like, it is generally more male dominated areas. So naturally, I think that's why it's more male dominated. Even like when you look at history and how women dress, like women have not really worn tracksuits and stuff like even like in work, I work with people who would say before the pandemic they would never dream of buying a tracksuit, wearing a tracksuit.
Crazy.
That's what I mean. But there's so many people who, like, for women, like they just wouldn't wear this kind of stuff. So I think it's only recently, and even just in general, like in our lifetime, I think we've only seen streetwear come into like mass fashion and like, maybe not mass fashion, but into mainstream fashion and into like high fashion. So I think it's all quite new and relative. Whereas, like I said, if you look at the heritage of streetwear, it's in like skateboarding or like this kind of like male dominated sports. Exactly. So I think like it does make sense, but I just think it's time for women to come.
No, 100%.
Take up some of that space.
100%. It is time for a change, man. And I think that speaks more to the point you're making about women dressing differently now. Do you know what I mean? Like women don't have to wear dresses to be a woman. Do you know what I mean? Like women should be allowed to wear whatever they want. Exactly. So I was really happy, like when I was reading the interview, hearing everything you're saying, because we do need more female streetwear brands. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because you're a woman and you want to design doesn't mean you have to design a dress. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But so I was on your website, and obviously I'm looking at the pieces and that they're sick. They're really affordable. Yeah. Is that something that's important to you?
Yeah, so this is something which, to be fair, even now sometimes when I'm looking at my numbers, I'm like, why did I make this so cheap? Because like for me, this is something like I always speak about. I think you should price an item at what you look at and think the item is worth, and work your like margin and your cost price of the item towards that, rather than, you know, if an item costs however much to manufacture, rather than saying, oh well, I want to make 3 times that, like, and just putting it at that price. To me, I don't know, I disagree with that. I think you should price that item at what you think the item is worth, and work that way. You know, even if it is something as simple as just a plain tee, but I don't know, it might be like really high quality fabric, heavy fabric, and this type of stuff. So in which case it warrants being a higher price point, because like to me, I would look at that and be like, okay, it's worth that because like it's a good quality fabric.
It's gonna last longer.
Yeah, it's gonna last longer. This kind of stuff, rather than just however much the item costs to manufacture, just timesing it by 3 or timesing it by 4 and just selling it for that just because you want to make profit. So that's kind of how I do my pricing architecture. But
thank you for watching another episode of Where's My Podcast. If you ever want to take in future episodes on the go, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Whilst you're there, please leave us a 5-star review. It would really help. And also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, WMTV_LDN, to keep up to date with the latest goings on in UK fashion. Keep it locked.